First contact and devastation. The UES horizon drifted silently through the luminous clouds of the Cygnus Nebula, its sensors probing the cosmic dust for signs of habitable worlds. Captain Maya Chen stood on the bridge, her dark eyes fixed on the main view screen. After 2 years in deep space, her crew had mapped dozens of star systems, but they had found no signs of intelligent life, until today. Multiple objects approaching, Captain. Lieutenant Rodas reported, his fingers dancing across the sensor panel. Configuration unknown, definitely not natural formations. Chen nodded, feeling her heart rate quicken despite her years of training. Maintain course. Open all communication channels. The bridge fell silent as strange vessels emerged from the nebula's swirling gases. Their hulls gleamed with a silvery material unknown to human science, moving with a precision that suggested highly advanced propulsion systems. "Beautiful," whispered Navigator Hassan. The alien vessels arranged themselves in a perfect hexagonal formation facing the horizon. Their design favored function over aesthetics, smooth, elongated hulls with no visible weapons or external components. "Any response to our hails?" Chen asked. Communications Officer Park shook her head. "Nothing yet, Captain. I'm broadcasting on all formats and frequencies." Chen straightened her uniform. Humanity's first contact with an alien civilization would define her legacy. The United Earth government had prepared protocols for this moment, emphasizing peace and cooperation. "Keep trying. Let's show them we come in peace." After several tense minutes, the largest alien vessel emitted a beam of pale blue light that swept over the horizon. "They're scanning us," reported Science Officer Wright. "Very thorough sweep. They're analyzing everything from our hull composition to our life support systems." A chime sounded at Park Station. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission." The view screen shifted to show a being unlike anything humans had encountered. The alien representative had 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern across a face with multiple speaking orifices. Its skin rippled with colors that seemed to pulse with its emotions. Chen stepped forward. "I am Captain Chen of the Earth vessel Horizon. We come in peace as explorers and wish to establish friendly relations." The translation algorithms worked frantically to decipher the response, which came as a series of clicks and whistles. The computer finally rendered it in English. "Your presence is noted. This sector falls under Vorax protection. State your purpose." "We are explorers from Earth seeking knowledge and peaceful contact with other intelligent species," Chen replied. "We claim no territory and mean no harm." The Vorax representative's eyes blinked in unison. "Scans indicate primitive technology. Your species is unknown to our records. What interest do you have in System K-29? Chen glanced at Officer Wright, who pulled up the star charts. "We designated it Proxima Cygni," Wright whispered. "Uninhabited system with substantial mineral resources on the 4th planet." Chen addressed the screen again. "We were conducting standard exploratory surveys. If this system holds importance to the Vorax Protectorate, we respectfully acknowledge your prior claim." The communication paused as the Vorax ships shifted position slightly. "You have deployed sampling devices on the 4th planet. Explain." "Standard resource assessment probes," Chen explained. "We had no indication the system was claimed. We can recall them immediately." Another pause. The Vorax ships moved again, now forming a loose circle around the horizon. "Captain," Security Officer Dias said quietly, "they've activated energy systems consistent with weapons charging." Chen kept her expression neutral. "We mean no offense and will withdraw from this system immediately if you wish." The Vorax representative's tone shifted to something harder. "Your species is unknown, yet you approach valuable systems without proper diplomatic clearance. This suggests deception." "There's been a misunderstanding," Chen said, feeling the situation slipping away. "We had no way to request clearance, as this is our first contact with your civilization." "Primitive species often claim ignorance when caught trespassing," came the reply. "Your vessel contains scanning technology specifically designed to locate valuable resources. All exploration vessels carry such equipment, Chen explained. It's standard procedure, not an indication of hostile intent. The four-eyed face moved closer to whatever visual sensor captured its image. The Vorax Protectorate does not recognize Earth authority or claims. You will surrender your vessel for inspection. Chen glanced at her officers. This was escalating too quickly. We wish to cooperate, but surrendering our vessel exceeds my authority. Perhaps we could meet at a neutral location to establish proper diplomatic. Weapons locked on us. Diaz called out. Shields up, Chen ordered. Power to engines. The Vorax representative's colors darkened to deep crimson. Your defensive posture confirms hostile intent. Primitive species must learn proper respect. We are not hostile, Chen insisted. We're raising shields as a precaution only. A beam of intense green energy shot from the nearest Vorax vessel, striking the horizon's shields. Shields at 40% from a single hit, Diaz reported, her voice tight with alarm. Arm weapons. Chen hit the ship-wide comm. All hands, battle stations. This is not a drill. She turned back to the view screen. We have no quarrel with the Vorax Protectorate. Please cease fire so we can resolve this peacefully. Primitive species require demonstration, came the cold reply. All 6 Vorax ships now oriented weapons toward the horizon. Evasive maneuvers, Chen ordered. Prepare emergency transmission to Earth. The horizon banked hard, its engines straining as it attempted to break away from the encirclement. Another energy beam struck, then another. They walked from the simulation lab to the observation deck. Through the massive window, they could see the true scale of the retribution. The ship stretched nearly 3 kilometers in length, its black hull absorbing light rather than reflecting it. Unlike traditional warships with their angular designs, the retribution featured organic, flowing curves that helped channel the quantum forces it would both generate and withstand. Workers in spacesuits swarmed across its surface like ants, installing the final components of the revolutionary drive system. When completed, the retribution would be able to bend space itself, creating shortcuts through the fabric of reality that no other ship could follow. Beautiful, isn't it? Asked a voice behind them. Dr. Santos turned to see Admiral Takeda entering the observation deck. He wore the formal uniform of the United Earth Defense Force, medals from previous service decorating his chest. Beautiful and terrible, Dr. Santos replied. The Singularity Cascade system passed its final test yesterday. One ship with enough destructive power to render a planet uninhabitable. Admiral Takeda stood beside her, his expression solemn. The War Council debated for a week about whether we should even build this ship. Some argued that creating such a weapon makes us no better than the Vorax. And what did you argue, Admiral? That unlike the Vorax, we didn't fire first. He turned to face her directly. Have you seen the footage from New Eden Colony? After the Vorax finished their bombardment, they landed troops to hunt down survivors. They showed no mercy, not even to children. Dr. Santos lowered her eyes. Everyone had seen the footage. The images haunted her dreams. The Singularity Cascade wasn't my idea, she said quietly. I just made it work. And you should be proud, Takeda said firmly. The Vorax believe they can wipe us out because we're technologically inferior. The retribution will show them how wrong they are. Their conversation was interrupted by an alert chime. The main screen showed a shuttle approaching the shipyard. She's here, Admiral Takeda said. Let's go meet her. They rode a transport tube to the docking bay and arrived just as the shuttle completed its landing procedures. The door opened, and a woman in a commander's uniform stepped out. Her face bore a long scar running from temple to jaw, and she walked with a slight limp. Commander Hassan, Admiral Takeda said, offering a formal salute. Welcome to Project Retribution. Commander Fatima Hassan, the sole survivor of the Horizon, returned the salute. Her eyes were sharp and clear, analyzing everything around her with military precision. Admiral, Doctor, she acknowledged. I understand you've built me a ship. the most advanced vessel humanity has ever created, Dr. Santos confirmed, though it's still 2 weeks from completion. 2 weeks we may not have, Hassan replied. The Vorax fleet has broken through our defenses at Mars. Earth is their next target. Admiral Takeda's expression darkened. Then we'll have to work faster. Commander, if you'll follow me, I'll brief you on the ship's capabilities. They walked together toward the command center, passing through security checkpoints that required DNA verification at each stage. The Retribution isn't just a warship, Dr. Santos explained as they walked. It's a completely new approach to space combat. The quantum displacement field allows for unprecedented maneuverability. You can execute turns that would tear any conventional ship apart. And the weapons? Hassan asked. 3 main systems, Admiral Takeda replied. First, standard energy lances for conventional engagement. Second, the Singularity Cascade system, essentially a targeted gravitational wave that can tear through any known shielding. And finally, the Quantum Lance. Commander Hassan raised an eyebrow. Quantum Lance. Dr. Santos nodded. It focuses the ship's displacement field into a concentrated beam. It can literally tear an enemy vessel apart by creating different quantum states across its structure. One section might experience accelerated time, while an adjacent section experiences decelerated time. They entered the command center, where engineers and officers worked at various stations. A central holographic display showed the Retribution now 96% complete. The War Council unanimously selected you to command her, Admiral Takeda told Hassan. Your experience against the Vorax at the Horizon engagement makes you uniquely qualified. Commander Hassan's face remained impassive, but her hand unconsciously touched the scar on her cheek. I was hardly engaged in combat. My escape pod launched just before the Horizon was destroyed. But you observed their tactics firsthand, Takeda insisted, and more importantly, you understand what we're fighting for. Hassan nodded slowly. I watched my crewmates die. I spent every day since planning how to make the Vorax pay for that mistake. Dr. Santos studied the commander carefully. This ship can give you that chance, Commander. But its power comes with enormous responsibility. The Singularity Cascade could destroy entire worlds if misused. I don't want to destroy worlds, Hassan replied, her voice cold. Just the Vorax fleet that threatens our existence. A junior officer approached with a tablet. Admiral, we've received updated intelligence. Vorax forces have taken Luna's orbital stations. Their main fleet will reach Earth in approximately 10 days. Admiral Takeda's face hardened. Then we have 10 days to complete a 2-week schedule. Dr. Santos, what systems can we prioritize to get the Retribution combat ready? We can launch without the secondary shield generators and some of the crew quarters, she replied after a moment's thought. But the quantum systems must be perfectly calibrated, or the first combat maneuver could tear the ship apart. Make it happen, Takeda ordered. Commander Hassan, select your command crew immediately. Training will have to happen concurrently with the final construction phases. Hassan nodded. I want the best pilots we have, regardless of rank or experience. And I'll need engineers who can think creatively. The Vorax have never seen technology like this. We need people who can maximize its potential in ways the enemy won't expect. For the next 8 days, the shipyard operated at maximum capacity. Crews worked in continuous shifts, installation teams sleeping in 4-hour rotations before returning to their tasks. Commander Hassan spent every waking moment in the simulator, learning the unique handling characteristics of humanity's most advanced weapon. On the 9th day, the Retribution powered up its core systems for the first time. The massive engine array hummed to life, creating a soft vibration that could be felt throughout the ship. Power levels stable, reported Chief Engineer Martinez. Quantum field integrity at 99.2%. Dr. Santos monitored the readings from the engineering deck. Within acceptable parameters. Begin secondary system initialization. Throughout the ship, lights flickered on as power flowed through previously dormant circuits. The bridge came alive with holographic displays, showing ship status, weapons readiness, and sensor data. Commander Hassan sat in the command chair, her posture perfect despite her injury. Communications, status report. All channels operational, Commander, came the reply. Navigation, course plotting systems online. Quantum mapping ready for field testing. Weapons, energy lances charged and ready. Singularity cascade at 85% capacity and rising. Quantum lance awaiting final calibration. Hassan nodded, satisfied. She opened a channel to engineering. Dr. Santos, how soon can we move to live fire testing? Before Santos could answer, alarms blared throughout the ship. The tactical officer's voice was tense with urgency. Commander, Vorak scouts detected in cislunar space. They're on a direct course for the shipyard. Admiral Takeda's voice came over the command channel. Commander Hassan, the Retribution isn't ready for combat. Primary shielding is only at 70% capacity. Hassan's hands gripped the arms of her command chair. How long until they detect us? At current speed, 20 minutes maximum, replied the tactical officer. Hassan made her decision instantly. Dr. Santos, we need all essential systems operational now. Divert power from non-essential areas if necessary. Commander, the quantum systems haven't been fully tested under combat conditions, Santos protested. They're about to be, Hassan replied grimly. Admiral Takeda, request permission to take the Retribution out to engage the enemy scouts before they can report our position. There was a moment of silence before Takeda responded. Permission granted, Commander. The fate of Earth may rest on your success. Don't let them report back about the Retribution. Understood, Admiral. Hassan straightened in her chair, her eyes focused on the tactical display showing the approaching Vorax vessels. All hands, prepare for immediate departure. This is not a drill. The Retribution is going to war. As the massive black ship detached from its construction cradles, Commander Hassan allowed herself a small, cold smile. The Vorax had dismissed humanity as primitive and unworthy of respect. Soon they would learn just how dangerous humanity could be when fighting for survival. The Retribution moved silently through space, its quantum drive barely registering on conventional sensors. Ahead, 3 Vorax scout ships approached Earth's orbital shipyards, unaware of the danger stalking them. Weapons status, Hassan asked. Energy lances at full capacity. Singularity cascade at 92% and holding. Quantum lance at 76% and rising, reported Weapons Officer Lai. Tactical analysis of scout vessels. Standard Vorax configuration. Light armor, high maneuverability. They appear to be equipped with long-range sensors and communication arrays rather than heavy weapons. Hassan nodded. They're here to gather intelligence, not fight. Maintain stealth approach. Calculate firing solution for simultaneous strikes on all 3 targets. We can't allow any of them to transmit what they found. The bridge crew worked with quiet efficiency. For many, this was their first actual combat mission, but months of intense simulation training had prepared them well. Firing solution complete, Lai announced. All targets locked. Range to targets. 60,000 kilometers and closing. Hold fire until 20,000. I want no chance of survival or distress signal. The Retribution glided closer, its black hull invisible against the backdrop of space. On the tactical display, the Vorax scouts continued their approach to Earth, completely unaware of the human warship stalking them. 30,000 kilometers, reported the tactical officer. Hassan leaned forward in her command chair. Divert auxiliary power to weapon systems. Prepare to fire on my mark. 25,000 kilometers. The tension on the bridge was palpable. Every crew member understood the stakes. If even one Vorax scout escaped to warn the main fleet about the Retribution, humanity's only advantage would be lost. 20,000 kilometers. We are in optimal firing range. Hassan's voice was steady as she gave the order that would begin humanity's counterattack. Fire. 3 brilliant beams of energy lanced out from the Retribution, crossing the void of space in microseconds. The Vorax scouts, caught completely by surprise, had no time to raise shields or take evasive action. Two of the scouts vanished instantly, transformed into expanding clouds of superheated gas and debris. The third scout, struck off-center, spun wildly. Its hull breached, but its core systems still partially functional. Target 3 is damaged but operational, Lai reported, detecting energy buildup consistent with emergency communication protocols. Hassan's response was immediate. Target the singularity cascade. Fire when ready. A different kind of energy emanated from the retribution this time, a focused wave of gravitational distortion that enveloped the damaged scout. For a brief moment, the Vorax vessel seemed to stretch impossibly, its structure elongating as space itself warped around it. Then it imploded, crushed by forces that defied conventional physics. All targets neutralize, Lai confirmed. No distress signals detected. A moment of silence fell over the bridge, quickly broken by subdued cheers from the crew. Hassan allowed them this brief celebration before bringing them back to reality. "This was only the beginning," she said, her voice cutting through the jubilation. "The main Vorax fleet is still coming. Navigation, set course for Mars orbit. We need to assess their fleet formation before we engage." As the Retribution's quantum drive engaged, propelling the ship toward its rendezvous with humanity's enemies, Hassan opened a channel to Earth Command. "Admiral Takeda, this is Commander Hassan. Phase 1 complete. All Vorax scouts eliminated with no survivors. We are proceeding to Mars for reconnaissance of the main fleet." "Excellent work, Commander," came Takeda's reply. "Remember, your primary objective is to disrupt their command structure. The conventional fleet can handle the smaller vessels if you can eliminate their coordination." "Understood, Admiral." Retribution out. The ship that represented humanity's last, best hope for survival accelerated toward its destiny. The Vorax had awakened a sleeping giant with their unprovoked attack on the horizon. Now they would face the consequences of their arrogance. And as the stars streaked past the viewports of Earth's mightiest warship, one thing became clear. The aliens would soon tremble before the power of humanity's most destructive battleship.